Hey Ben, if you really want your guitar to sound weird, get a 12-string pack of strings and then throw out the 6-string set and then take the high 6-string set and then drop that down to a B and put them on your 6-string guitar. Snort! I'm going to eat pizza.
Thank you, Rex, for that intro. Welcome to the Sunday Night Hang, hanging right here on, well, Sundays, right here on the YouTubes. If you're new, please subscribe, and if you're returning, welcome back. I'm Ben. We've got Aaron from Albus reporting in. Survived another NAMM show. As most of you know, I couldn't make it. Obviously, I could because I'm here and he's there. And so in my steed, I'm like, be the eyes and or the ears. And I didn't have to give him a list of places to check out because he knows what I like. So that's fine. And so, yeah, welcome back, Aaron. Sure, we'll go with that for an intro.
I've survived. That's all I can say.
Yep. You survived. You survived. Wow, we already got 33 people in here. I'm going to do roll call because mazel. We got Dr. Fabric Top, paging Dr. Fabric Top, Charles75N in the chat, James Hawking, Ryan Hall, Joe Hervey 84, Terry's 3Gs, moderator to the stars, and co-host of Connects with Guitars, William De Silva, Paul McNary, and the Cats, Ferd Burfel, Dennis Ellis, some guy named Symmetry, never heard of him, BC Rich 581, Ryan, OE812, Hip Metal Works, Lawrence Cash of Alaska, Tim Thomas, DJ Play Nice, what's up? Who else we got in here? Yep. My knees hurt. Put a new video today. I dug it. Him playing with both of his parents. He was on a fiddle, Ma's on a keyboard, Pop's on the guitar. So,
wow.
That was awesome because family. Hashtag family. Michael Krause is here. Billy Baloney. Who else do we have here? Dan Crow. Good to see you. Rob Baker. House of Twang. Great to see you, House. Mason Douglas. Hello. Welcome. Graphite and Cigars. Jason Lindholm. LRM Guitars. All the guitars. Mr. Anderson 59. Royal City Wreckers. Out from the BC region of the world. Awesome. I think that's all the early gamers. We're going to get on down here. Wow, we got a new member. Lawrence Cash. New member. Ding, 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 ding. Awesome.
Hey, welcome to it.
Guitar Man 45. Gary Davlin. Super fan. Patrick Traits. Keith Campbell. Jeff K. All rolling in. Awesome. So if you have a question for either of us, tag either of us because that's how that works. Excuse me. And if there was anything, I'm trying to think. Other than the obvious that everyone's like, oh, the T-Rex.
Oh, dude, I was the one that started that whole fucking thing.
I don't know. Dan and Mick were on all over that. Like,
who do you think took Mick over there and who filmed the video?
Of course. Never mind.
I had already been there 4 times. I've got their cards and everything. I have photos with them. Yeah, it was hilarious. By the end of that, dude, literally the very first thing I did, I came in the first day. So I got there at 9:30 on Thursday.
Yeah, because you're staying right close by, aren't you?
Yeah, I walked there. Yeah, it takes 2 minutes. And it was funny because I got in. They wouldn't let anyone into the actual hall until 10 o'clock. So I'm like, that's fine. I want to go get something to drink. I'm standing in line for a coffee. Alarm goes off. This is not a drill. Please use the exits. Avoid the elevator. And I'm like, what the flippity? And I'm looking around and I'm like, are we really leaving? And all of a sudden you can see 1,000 people going back out through the doors. And I'm like, son of a. So you go outside, stand there for 10 minutes. They give you the okay, we can come back in. I get back in line. It's probably about, 10 minutes till the doors open. I actually moved up in the coffee line, though, so that kind of worked to my advantage.
Sweet.
Got myself a drink. Doors opened. I walked in. As soon as you came in Hall D, to the left was the new Chapman stand, so that worked out nice. Got to see Dan.
I saw they actually had a stand. They actually were displaying.
Yeah. And great guitars. Saw Dan, saw Rob, saw Pete. Ended up throughout the 4 days, hung out with those clowns quite a bit. And then Mark from Ferratone was their photographer. And him and I got on like a house on fire. He's a sweetheart. But so hung out there for a minute and then basically just worked from front to back and straight down towards the back as I'm walking. And like I said, right now there's not many people in the hall yet. I'm there
first thing in the morning. Yeah, it's great.
Yeah.
It's like
and I'm there the second you can walk in. So as I'm walking, you know me, from like halfway down, I see the sign that says Benson, and I'm like, and I quicken my pace, and I get over there. And it's funny because the two guys that own T-Rex, they're standing there, and I'm just standing outside the booth with my jaw agape, and they're like, "How are you?" And I'm like, "Holy shit, you did it!" And they're like, and I just they like go to shake my hand, I like beeline right past them. I'm like,
that's so what I would do the exact same thing. That's why we are brothers.
I grab the guitar, I start playing. I spend like the first 15 minutes of NAMM playing the Benson and checking. I'm like, oh my god, it's got balanced XLR ins and outs. It's got an external switch to control if you want to do expression on the speed of the drum head. It's got an external switch because it has a foot switch on it to turn it on and off. It can go on your pedal board. It's got a cover. But let's say you're like, I still, don't want this thing on my pedal board. You can leave it on your amp, run an extra cable out, and have the foot switch for on-off on your board. And I'm looking at this, and so they're giving me the rundown. You know me, once I know exactly how it works, when I get excited about something, I tell everyone.
Yes, you do.
So it's like, literally, I went from there. Danish Pete and I were walking around for about an hour together. And I left him.
He is eating chili, folks.
Yeah, he is. I left him.
Trevor just mentioned he can't tag people because he's eating chili. So
that makes sense. I left Pete
Prove
because Pete and I are walking, and every 2 seconds, if you're with Danish Pete, everyone stops for pictures and this, that, and the other. And I just turned to Pete at one point and I go, "I'm glad I'm not you, but I can't do this. I gotta go." And I left, and then I went over by. There was the Jam Pedals booth, and then next to it was not the Kernum guys. Oh, I know who was next to him was the dudes that just did the. My God, can you tell my brain's fried from being out here? The people that just released like the Unobtainium and that stuff, I think.
Yeah. Oh, come on.
And they also did the muff and they've got pedal. What the hell is that?
What's up, Emery? Patrick.
Well, anyways, they were next to that. So I go over and Mick's standing there looking at something. Now, Mick and I have corresponded for years via the intergroup. We've never met. So I stand next to him. And he looks up and I go, "Well, this is about 6 years overdue." And he doesn't know who I am. So he's like, "Oh, thank you so much." And then all of a sudden I cover my name tag up and I'm like, no. I'm like, "You've got to guess who it is." Dude, I said one Spinal Tap quote because I always talk Spinal Tap to Mick and Dan. I said one Spinal Tap quote and all of a sudden his eyes get this big and he goes, he gives me a big hug. So then I'm like, "Did you see the Benson?" And he's like, "No, what are you talking about?" And I'm like, "They did it. They fucking did it. They did the Benson." So he's like, "I got to see that." And I'm like, "Let's go." And he's like, "Hold on one sec. I'm in the middle of this thing." I'm like, "All right, I'll be over there." So then I'm back over there. I'm playing it. He came over and played it. And he's asking all the right questions like you'd expect Mick to do. And then I can see him getting ready to film it. He looks at me and asks me if I can help him. And I'm like, "Of course I can help you." So that's when his video happened. So they only had 100 of those to start with. And
that does explain a lot because I watched said video on Instagram and I went, yeah, it has the same vibe as one of your videos.
Well, what was funny is, I fell in love with that thing. Dude, I went back and played that thing, no joke, 12, 15 times over the 3 days. And I got to the point where it sold out. And then the two guys from T-Rex, the one guy that designed it and everything, he was giving me some of this Danish shot that you do at breakfast. It's called Old Danish, and it's like a bitter.
Mm-hmm.
And we're drinking that. It stole the show. Like, the show was was excellent. I was super happy with the show. It's probably my favorite NAMM so far. But that thing stole the show. Like, normally there's like a bunch of cool stuff, whether it's amps or pedals, that are like, oh, these are awesome. I can't wait for this to come out. This was the first thing.
There's Martin. He's at Hollywood Guitar Center.
Yes, I know that. I talked to Laz earlier.
Well, you didn't tell everybody else, and I didn't. So we're passing along. So
yeah, you gotta remember, I can't see a chat.
Yes. So, anyways, yeah. What's up, Martin, Laz?
Martin and Laz are lovely.
So yeah, so people want, when Aaron says he would tell everybody about it. Well, so far we've answered one question, and we're 11 minutes into the show.
Dude. Dude,
I mean, the follow-up question was, somebody had asked us what your favorite thing was at NAMM, so I'm going to say that.
It's without a doubt. I mean, if everything, the next best thing, say, was an 8 on the 10 scale, that thing was a 12. I mean, originally when people were like, ooh, 2,100 US, that's high, I would stop them and I'd go, do you know how much a vintage one is? And they'd be like, oh, yeah, that's right, more than that. And I go, do you know how much it is to service a vintage one, which is then going to break? And I was like,
probably 20. It would cost you probably the better part of 21. That's like 2 service jobs probably with parts.
I was going to say, I think the last time I know of somebody that got one serviced, they paid $800 to have it serviced.
Yeah, so it's got to be $1,000 now. Oh yeah.
So I'm like, it's durable. They mill their own drum. I mean, it blew my fucking mind. That thing is unbelievable. Unbelievable.
Marshall Murray's here, setting up. He was late due to setting up his new Jazzmaster. Okay, that's fine.
Now, there were a lot of other things that I saw that I really, really liked. Like, it was nice to see Park amps there because they got sold to Hiwatt.
Right.
So Park and Hiwatt are together, and I was talking with Mitch Colby because he owned Park and then sold them to Hiwatt. I didn't get to play them. I did take pictures with them, and like I said, I talked for probably 10 or 15 minutes with Mitch, and they look fantastic. Even if I would have played them, it would have been hard to like play them in anger. Yeah, it'd been hard to play.
I was asking if we were previously talking about the T-Rex unit. Yes.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. This is the first NAMM where it was funny. I did the same thing. I started off doing the same thing. Have you ever well, I'm sure you've noticed. Every NAMM I go to, there's like a video of me getting on the plane, landing in Anaheim. Then there's a couple of pictures of like me and my friends. Then there's a video of me getting back on the plane and landing in Chicago. And it's so in a week, 4 photos happened? And it's like, and that was starting off again. The first day happened, and I was like, I had drinks with multiple people, like Mick, bless him. Mick and I took him for drinks. So Mick and I went for drinks the first night. I didn't take a single freaking picture or video the first day. So then I'm like, shit, I'm about to do this again where I like don't have anything. So the second day, everyone that I'd already like talked to or hung out with or had drinks with, I ran back over to them. I'm like, I got to do this. Sorry. And they're like, yeah, no problem. I'm like, I need to make sure that I actually document the fact that I'm here this time.
And then Martin says it was a pleasure meeting you.
You'll see me again tomorrow for breakfast, but it was a pleasure meeting you, you nice man. I was no longer the youngster, dude. Martin's younger than I am.
Right?
Pretty cool.
Yeah. Just means you get to be crustier because you're not the kid, so you're allowed to be crustier.
I'm too goofy to be crusty, you know that.
Doug Strong in the house. What's up, Doug? Yeah, I'm trying to think. John Shane says he loves his unobtainium. I can't even say that word. Crazy tube circuits. Thank you.
That's
Paul Leonard Ewing. Of course he knows because he knows about every pedal ever made.
That's what was next to Jam. That name kept slipping my flipping mind.
And I'll just say now, I got a new pedal last week during my Thursday adventure, but I'm not saying what it is because it comes out in this week's Thursday vlog exclusive for patrons and members.
All the more reason to become a patron and member. Just says it.
Yep.
I walked down to
something that I can do a demo on and then may or may not flip it. I haven't decided yet. Still dialing it in.
I walked down to CVS today twice. The first time was to get more toothpaste and mouthwash because I was using Ike's toothpaste. And then Ike left this morning, so I was like, well, I got to go get toothpaste, mouthwash, and what's the third thing I got? Oh, I need a new thing of deodorant. Mine ran out. There we go.
You always run out of deodorant.
Yeah, I've used yours in the past.
It's usually halfway through. Hey, man, I'm like, this is why I bring extra.
Yep.
I pack 2 travel ones. What's up, Dave Chase?
It is funny how like everything ends up.
Keith.
You end up with a total mind fuck for like literal time warp. Perfect example. Okay, so I called Laz today because I'm like, okay, I've got a couple extra days to chill and hang out. Various people have been messaging me, asking me, hey, you want to go for lunch? You want to go for breakfast? You want to go for dinners?
Right.
Most of the time I sleep through them because, me, my phone's on silent. And if I take a nap, well, I'm not hearing anything. So I called Laz and I'm like, hey, I'm going to go get some food. You guys want to go get some food? And he's like, oh, me and Martin just ate. And I was like, oh, okay, never mind then. I've got other people that I'll text or I'll call and I'll see if they want to go. And Laz is like, yeah, we're at this guitar store. You really need to come to this shop. And I stopped and I go, Laz, I was with you at that exact shop on Thursday or on Wednesday. And he goes, wait, what? And I go, I was with you and JJ and Martin at that shop on Wednesday. And he looks, I'm not on video, but you could tell he's like looking around and all of a sudden he realizes like, oh yeah, that's the Gretsch Aaron was pointing out and that's the hot spot. And all of a sudden he goes, oh my God, this is what NAMM does to you. And I'm like, yeah, I know, dude.
It's tone overload. We got Boner Jams in the house with the super chat. Says, what's good, everyone? Aaron, your band name and homage to the sexiest wizard this size of Hogsmeade, Albus Dumbledore. God bless Voldemort.
Well, you would God bless Voldemort. He's a son of a bitch, though, so I will not bless him. But yes,
that's like a Hail Satan on the end.
Dude, I had an interesting conversation.
Thanks for super chat, Boner.
The man, the myth, the legend, Steve Fryette. Okay.
Yeah.
I had grabbed a group of people and brought them over. I did what I always do. I'm at NAMM. I go to the Hilton bar. I'm at NAMM. I go to the Hilton bar. I'm bringing people back and forth the whole damn time. Well, we're sitting there, and all of a sudden, I see Steve Fryette walk by, and I just yell across the back of the bar at him. And he turns around. I go like this. So then he goes like this. So then I go running up to him, and we had like a nice long talk. And the picture that we took is both of us flipping the bird. And the best part is, as he's leaving, I go to sit down, and it's quiet now. We're behind the elevators, and a guy fully dressed as Macho Man Randy Savage walks in. And my favorite wrestler is Macho Man. So now, at the top of my lungs, I scream, whoa, yeah! And he looks at me, and everybody that's in this whole back area is like. And then we got a video of me and him, Macho Man Randy Savaging the whole thing, and like, oh, it was awesome.
Yeah. Nice. What's up, Eric Warrington in the house? Yeah, 62 crazy kids in here. Awesome.
Good. I wish I could see the chat so that I could say hi to everybody in text format, but I guess I'll just have to say hi, everyone.
Yeah, I don't think there's a way on the mobile one to see the chat.
What's annoying as hell on here is if I hit chat, it pops up over my face. So, well, they can still see me, but I can't see them.
Right.
And then if I go to comments, I can see people saying stuff, but I don't know how the hell you can't like
chat. But you can't interact. You can't type in it. No, you can see it though.
Yeah, if I go to comments, I can see it. Like Terry 3G's just wrote, that's awesome. Is that the most recent thing? Now Keith Campbell. That's what I got.
Yep.
Keith Campbell.
What was the best jam you saw? Or did you see any jams on the showroom or at any of the hotels?
In the actual show, Digital John, as they call him on Anderton's, he performed. I saw him perform at Neural, and I saw him perform at Vegatrum, and he's a phenomenal player. So he was fun to watch play. I got to see the Steel Panther guys came out with a signature Chapman, so I got to see them play. Who else at a booth did I see play that was a lot of fun?
What's up, Mason guitar guy?
I mean, I got to watch Mick play an Echo Rec. That was fun, you know.
Right?
I listened to Rhett play the Echo Rec, because then when I bumped into Rhett and Chile, I was like, have you seen the Echo Rec?
Of course you did.
I mean, it was funny because by the end of it, like I said, with the Echo Rec specifically, everyone was like, are they paying you? I'm like, no, they're not paying me. And they're like, well, they should send you a unit. I'm like, no, I want this to succeed. I will give them my money. They
can send me the unit on your behalf. I'm just saying.
I doubt
demo it. And
I mean, they're all sold out. So like that's their next big conundrum is going to be like, okay, we underguessed what quantity of these we needed to have made. So now you got to jump back into the queue, and everyone's still playing catch up on fulfilling things. And that's a rather labor intensive thing to have made. Because like I said, that drum with the wire in it and everything, that's all custom done.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know how long that stuff will take them to get rebooted after this first 100.
Guitar Man 45 was asking any other cool pedals that you saw?
Oh, yeah. Hold on one sec. I see Trev said, I put the chat up upon my video input if you want.
Yeah, so we could do this, if that helps.
Oh,
but you probably can't read that.
Oh, I can't read that goddamn thing. Jesus.
That's what I thought. Thanks anyways, Trev.
Thanks, bro. Nice attempt. Pedal-wise, yeah, let's think. My buddy Chris Kozert at Haunted Labs, he finally dropped a delay pedal. And
nice.
that was pretty cool. His best selling and coolest pedal is like a modulated reverb called the Dark Aura.
Yep.
And as you turn the Evolve knob up, you get a really nice modulation on the reverb, and it gets really, really spooky. That's Haunted Labs' thing. Yep. And the delay is pretty much a 3-knob delay where time repeats, and then like
the mix.
Well, no, wait, let me think. No, there's 3 knobs. Maybe there's 4 knobs. Time, repeat, probably mix, and then there's just like on the Dark Aura, where as you turn it up, you get more and more modulation on the trails. But then there's a little 3-button switch, and depending on which one of those 3 you're in, you get like a different effect type in the repeat. And it's cool because one of them has like a very, I don't know how I would even describe it. I guess I would call it like a trem on like the repeat of the delay trail.
Okay.
And that was cool. There was a picture that was taken by Mojo Hand Effects. Took a picture today and posted it, and that was me. The picture's hilarious because I'm standing at the booth, and you got to take your hat off to put the headphones on. So I'm standing there all bald, and they took the picture and put it up, and I'm like, that's about the look you'd expect from me, sure.
Yeah. So
that was cool.
What's up, Joe?
I got to hang out with Enrico from KMA Audio, which you know that you want of mine, the Phase computer, the horizontal. Yes. Yeah. So I hung out with him. I got to hang out with him quite a bit. Him and I went for a walk the last day. His stuff is fantastic. I mean, I have the Horizont and I have the Cirrus, which is the reverb delay pedal. But this was the first time I got to play the Fuzz Disruptor, which is his crazy mind's way of manipulating a big muff. And that was rad because unlike a normal big muff, like it's basically like the wall of fuzz you'd get from a big muff, but then you can sculpt in and out any frequency you want. So I'm thinking about having Zeke grab that to throw on his bass. Because he uses the Xander Circuitry Sono, which is like a preamp and a fuzz. But he said that I haven't been able to replicate it, but Zeke said that sometimes when he would be playing, if he stepped on it, it was like one of the foot switches wasn't Now he steps on shit like a caveman. So I have told him, I don't care what pedal it is, like you can't like basically jump off of things onto this. That's like how hard he stomps on shit.
Yeah.
So I was like, well, I'll open it up. I'll call Alex and I'll have him look at the innards and see, and I'll tell him what's wrong with it and see if there's anything. But in the meantime, you know, he had an old Electro Harmonics bass big muff that's on the
Right.
board. And then instead of like a preamp, I put my Keeley filaments on the board because that has like every EQ you could possibly want. So I was like, this allows you can set it as a lower gain and EQ the shit out of it.
Exactly.
And he likes how the filaments has been sounding on bass, but he wants his Xander back for the fuzz for sure. And I'm like, doesn't mean, I mean,
wait, there might be a new option.
Well, and that's the thing is what's hilarious about, you know, my bandmates is it's like, they're not like you and me where it's like, I have 30 overdrives. You know what I mean? Like, they're like, I got one and I like how it sounds. So that's the one that I have. And it's like,
yeah,
you can have more than one. You can have a lot more than one. And then you can swap them in and out. That's the fun of it.
So Dan Crow had a question here. What would you rather have, an Echo Rec pedal or the Fender Ultra Strat? Not a hard choice for him.
God, no. I'll take that Echo Rec 10 times.
Yep.
Out of 10.
I already have a Strat. I'm good.
So do I.
I don't have an Echo Rec.
I don't have an Echo Rec.
Terry was asking, did you check out the new Guild Surfliners Deluxe while there?
I did, yes. I like the darker. So my problem with the original Surfliners was the headstock looked cheap. They just took like the regular maple headstock and then, I don't know, it almost looks like somebody took a marker and wrote Guild on the frickin' maple. The new ones have like the Deluxe has like the matching headstock.
What's up, Lawrence?
And I just think it looks like, oh, there's the man. I entered Lawrence's giveaway. If you have not done that, go on to the old Instagram.
Yeah. Speaking of which, I will forward that to Trev so he can put it in the chat.
Yeah. All you got to do is like the post, comment by tagging somebody, and then click the link in his bio and enter. I've never been much of a Marshall guy, but Lawrence is the only Marshall guy that I have played where I've been like, hell yeah, I could rock that. And the 74 is the one that I really liked in 2020 when you were here, Ben.
Yep.
So I had to go ahead and enter it because Lawrence knows.
I don't know, Trev, if you can do it from your phone, figure it out. I don't know digitals. Like, Lawrence sent it to me by phone, so I sent it to you by phone. And yeah, so enter now to... apparently, of course, Bent Tom has pre-ordered the Echo Rec.
Yeah, that's because Bent Tom's a smart man.
Yep, he is.
Yeah.
What's up, Jerry F?
And the T-Rex guys could not be lovelier human beings if you tried. They had some producer guy came by the booth while I was over there, and I wasn't even playing. I was just talking with people, you know, standing up in between booths. And they came over and grabbed me, and they're like, "Can you play this for him?" And I'm like, "Yeah." So I did the demo for like the producer guy, and then he bought one. So I'm like, all right, good. There we go. Which is probably also why people were like, you work for them? And I'm like, no, not at all. I just want to see them.
Charles beat Trev somehow, some way. I don't know how Charles got it, but Charles had it. And
way to go, Charles.
Again, Lawrence may have just spammed everybody in his contact list with it. I don't know.
The Dunnable booth. So I guess if I was going to break this down into, I'll break it down into ones that I was impressed by. I was really impressed with the Dunnable booth. You know me, I've owned a Dunnable, sold it after I got divorced. Now they have the Korean line that's made in world manufacturing, and I've been wanting to pick one of those up. That's on the list of cars still to get. Well, they released a couple more of the shapes as the Korean made ones. And then they had like just all their insane US handcrafted ones. So their booth was super impressive and super awesome because they've got like they've got like a Mosrite body style. They've got a V. They've got, you know, just their shapes are really, really cool. So I liked the Dunnable booth a lot. I spent about 20 minutes playing the new 2-Rock amp. And I plugged in. Zach from Mythos had a board over there with the Oracle, the Argo, the Mjolnir, and then his prototype chorus, which was just in, you know, like a plain box with label maker that said, you know, Mythos Proto. That thing sounds fantastic. Like to the point where I ended up messaging him afterwards just to sit, like as soon as I got up, I was like, hey, I just played that prototype chorus for 20 minutes and it sounds lovely. He wrote me back, he's like, thanks, my dude. I'm like, no, like.
Billy Baloney asks, can someone please help me explain my wife why I need a $2,000 plus delay? Yeah, you just show them the price, show her the price of an original one.
That's exactly what I
see how much money you're saving.
Go look up.
And Keith Campbell's like, Gibson, Fender were no shows. Gibson, Fender, PRS, lots of companies.
It was. So this is how I described it to people. In 2020, if you want to say it was a 10 on a 10 scale, Ben was there.
Yeah.
Packed like sardines, loud as shit.
Yep.
2022 was half of that.
Yeah.
This year was halfway back up. So it's like 75% of what 2020 was. And this was my favorite because there was a ton of brands, but they were brands that like I think need to have more attention put on them. Brand like Mule Resophonic guitars were there, you know, Two Rock was there, Dunnable was there.
Prestige brought their custom shop there.
Yeah. High Watt / Park was there. You know, Chapman had their booth, which I thought was fantastic. The Reverend stand is always amazing. They were there. Rev's stand was out of this world good. EHX's stand was awesome. Death by Audio stand was awesome. Like this, I mean, I don't give a shit about Gibson, Fender, or PRS for a number of reasons. Number one, we already know everything that they're going to make. It's not like they're going to come out with something revolutionary. You know what I mean? They might have a different finish on a Les Paul that you've never seen before, but it's still going to be a Les Paul. Okay.
Right.
That's not a knock on them. I'm just saying like that's not that exciting to me.
Right.
Meanwhile, you know, you get
Blue Sky.
Meanwhile, you get a company like Valiant Guitars out of Ukraine. They were there, and that was my first time getting my hands on their stuff. And that shit's incredible. I played.
Yeah, I think Laz is getting a guitar from them.
He's getting one. Yeah.
Yeah.
He's got one payment I think left to make on it. But I played an unbelievable olive drab green, which you know me and green, with a black pick guard, basically like their version of a Jaguar. Oh, with two humbuckers though, but like that body shape. Oh my God. Slightly relict. They relict it realistic and in the right places and not like somebody took a frickin', you know, machete to it. Like it played unbelievable. It sounded great. I didn't even dare ask what the price tag was because I was like, shit, like these got to be 35 and plus.
You're like, this is nice.
Oh, it was so good. So, you know, that's what made NAMM so exciting this time was there was a lot of brands. It was not short on brands and it was not short on people attending. Everyone seems to go, oh, no Gibson, no Fender, no PRS. And I'm like, big fucking deal. Like they're in every store that they'd ever want to be in. You know, same thing with Friedman and Boutique. Like I would love to have them there and play them, but I understand their thought process. Like, why would we pay if we're already in every dealer that we want to be? Everyone knows who we are, so it's like, you know what I mean? Yeah. Let an amp company that isn't in every store get a little bit of publicity, and that seems to work. Like Driftwood's amps were there; those sound great. If you're a high gain guy, the Driftwood amps are monstrous. The Rev booth, like I said, was awesome. And now they have the D25 combo. So I'm like, oh my God. So, yeah, I mean.
Sean Tubbs has this new boost pedal.
Yep, the tilt boost. I should give, so the Ike story, this is funny. So, you know, Ike and I stayed together, which is funny because, you know, I'd never met Ike in person. So, we got on like an old married couple, like him and I. He's like, the only person that can talk more than me is you. And I'm like, yeah, that's
no shit.
I was like, that's
having hung out with both of you, no shit.
He can talk a lot too. Like he
can, but no, you are the king, sir. You are the king.
Absolutely. That's a crown.
I just think of that first time when it was the three of us with JJ. JJ would just look at me and goes, Aaron's either talking or asleep. I was like, yep.
Well, what was funny is after spending enough time with Danish Pete, I think Pete can keep up with me. So I told Ike, I go, the most counterproductive conversation ever would be me, you, and Danish Pete. It'd just be a wall of noise. I go, the subtitles on that conversation would just be all the different alphabet letters.
3 people talking and nobody listening.
Exactly. But it was nice because, you know,
how's JJ doing? Keith Campbell was asking.
JJ's well, you know, he's been busy because he's, you know, he's got work and stuff outside since he lives here. Unlike the rest of us, it's not like he is taking time off and going to this and just enjoying this. He's got other responsibilities and stuff that he has to do while coming into this. But yeah, no, JJ's good.
Good.
I had messaged him today to see if he wanted to go to lunch after Laz informed me that they had just eaten and they were at the shop that Laz forgot I was with him at, you know, 5 days ago.
Right.
But I didn't hear back from JJ, and I assume, you know, it's Sunday. Him and the family are probably doing something. So
exactly.
So no harm, no foul there. Trey from Gear Gods, it was funny. The first night before, was it the first night of NAMM?
Hey,
No.
Sean Pierce Johnson in the chat.
Oh, there's SPJ. I saw him a couple dozen times as well. He was looking very spry. He was moving about. He was ducking and weaving and making things happen. I mean, he had the pedal to the metal.
Good.
But I took him over to Benson. Yeah.
Of course.
And then I'd already played it once. So when I was like, hey, let me play it, he's like, no, you've already played it. So he took the guitar and he played, and I was like, and then I remember at one point the cable fell out of the guitar, and I go, does that mean it's my turn? And he picks it up and he goes, no. And he plugs it back in. I'm like, oh my God. And he's like, you've already played it. I was like, that's true. But
Making $1 million moves. Exactly.
Yeah. Seeing Sean's always lovely.
It is. It is.
In fact, Sean, I don't know what you're doing. I'm going to breakfast tomorrow morning, stupid early, and you're not going to want to go to that with Laz and Martin because they've got to hit the road and drive up north. But I'll get a hold of you. Maybe you and I can do lunch or dinner or something tomorrow, since I fly out.
Well, Aaron, I will say, of course, you know, I'm missing NAMM for the hang, but I was like, I wasn't missing it too much because, you know, less vendors and there's few that I want to see that weren't going to be there and such. But then it hit me yesterday because, you know, I have other passions in life. I didn't realize the Long Beach Grand Prix this weekend, too.
Oh.
So guess where I would have been dragging your ass today? Up to Long Beach.
Yeah, to that. Yeah. Which would have been fine. We could have done that.
Yeah. It's like, well, if the guitars didn't make us deaf, the race cars will.
Yeah. Like I said, though, this was the best NAMM so far because you could still... It was busy enough. There was everyone. It
looked like it felt like I was getting just from the outside very much a summer NAMM vibe in that respect.
No, way bigger than that.
Yeah, bigger, but that vibe.
Oh yeah, where you could still hear people and talk, and I think
go chill and much more chill. What's up, Surfer B?
It was just nice to be able to spend time on brands that I wanted to spend time on. You know what I mean? Rather than like upstairs was, I think, ESP and PV, and I mean, it was nice to see PV doing shit again. Like that's rad. And I don't think they announced it, but I have heard that the Delta Blues is supposed to be getting reissued and redone, which would be rad because I love 15-inch speakers.
Mm-hmm.
So that would be cool. But I mean, it was fantastic. I don't have a single bad thing to say about it. Oh wait, that's a lot.
Dave Chase gifted a membership to Michael Krause. Nice.
That's very nice of him. I have one bad thing to say. They changed the fucking pizza recipe.
Oh no.
And they shit the bed on that. So you know how before it used to be Sbarro. It was Sbarro pizza, which is like the best fast food pizza ever. And I'd have 4 slices of cheese pizza throughout the day, and that was good every day. The very first day I walked by and like people are ordering this shit up and there's no pies out. And all of a sudden I see him bring in a pie, and the only one they got is pepperoni. And I'm like, all right, it's pepperoni, whatever. I'll take a chance on it. Well, I got it. It's not like thin like the cheese would be. I ate it. I'm like, this kind of sucked. But then they screwed me because the next day I see cheese and it's thin. So I'm like, all right, cool, let's do this. I get the cheese. They changed it. It's like doughy and floppy, and there's a bunch of shit falling off the bottom. Like they still have all the powdery stuff on the bottom of the
cornmeal.
Yeah, all over the bottom. And I'm like, all right, you got me twice. Not happening again. So that's my one complaint. The pizza sucked. Although Ike and I did go to the Mexican place yesterday that's in Hilton's lobby.
Yep.
And that steak, we got burrito bowls, and that steak burrito bowl was pretty solid.
Nice.
Maybe I'll go do that for dinner. I
There
could
you
eat
go.
that. I could eat that again.
Yeah, Surf B, exactly. Surf B is joining NAMM. He says this NAMM might have been a great opportunity for smaller merchants to shine. Exactly. Aaron was saying that about 10, 15 minutes ago.
Yeah.
Michael Krause asks, so did you see that guitar that changes color?
There was a bunch of them, but yes, I did. Are you talking the Chapman one? I saw the Chapman one that changes color, yeah.
Let's see here. Sean Pierce Jones says, by the way, the new PVHP2s are bonkers good. Well, that's good to hear because I played one at Summer NAMM in 2019. It was bonkers bad.
No, PV was impressive. Like I said, it was nice to see them giving a shit and putting an effort in.
Mm-hmm.
They went back and I watched the video on it. When Misha was doing his signature Invective amp with PV, he brought in his block letter and said that his block letter doesn't sound like the ones that they're making, and they didn't believe him. And then they went and checked it, and schematically wise, everything was correct, but there was like a tolerance or a drift in the output transformer that was different to the old one. So now they've gone back, and the 6505 and the 65052 both have the correct transformer output. So I'm like, okay, well, that's good to hear.
I get a question. Great. Dan Crow, Pete Thorne had some interesting thoughts today on NAMM today. There we go. Yeah. What did you think about some of his ideas, like moving to Vegas or having a sale on Sundays, etc.? I like the idea of moving to Vegas because it's Vegas for one. Anaheim is cool and it's great in January because weather. That's the biggest factor. But other than that, you got to drive to do anything. There's a few hotel little lobby deals within walking distance, but really, yeah, to have a. That's why I loved about Nashville, because you walk out of the convention center and bam, there's Broadway.
I wouldn't be against Vegas. Might be even more dangerous for the drinking and partying and after parties. And I don't know how that would. It'd probably be cheaper in Vegas. I don't know if it'd still be union or not.
If you would turn into more the NAMM Day has the showroom, and then there'd be more evening events, right? Because you'd have the whole strip basically to play with.
The big thing that I've been championing for 4 or 5 years now is letting the vendors sell shit.
Well, and this was the thing Pete had mentioned, if they, because that was one of the things was I saw a lot of people in the chat complaining, and I was just like, it is a slight pet peeve of mine when I see, why can't you buy stuff? Blah, blah, blah. Well, you can buy stuff if you own a music store because it's a trade show. It's not a public show. But there is that gray area because there's a lot of people that attend that don't own or work at a music store like us. But I'm going there as a press person, kind of covering it for YouTube to share with everybody. Aaron's just there for the hang, which in reality, Aaron has no business being there. But that's what makes NAMM. Is part of it is the hang, running into the random people that can snag a NAMM pass. Although I do like the idea of opening it to the public on the last day. Yeah, throw the stuff. Put aside stuff because we've all seen all the custom shop, all that stuff. That's all gone because it's got 10 business cards already in it. That stuff, that goes away. But let's say Gibson's there and you have your 50 Gibson USA Les Pauls that they have on display. Yeah, sell them. Why box them up and take them back to Nashville just to then reship them out to stores anyways?
Well, in Anaheim, they don't have a public day. So that doesn't exist. But
No, but if they did turn it back into a 4-day and make Sunday the public
it's
day.
a 4-day next year. It's a 4-day in January. But I don't know why. I mean, it's the oldest secret. Everyone knows it. It's like the worst kept secret ever. Vendors sell the stuff after that have to ship it back, like you're saying. They've sold this shit for forever. You know, meet me outside the show Sunday night at Sunday at 6 type shit. And you buy in that way. So I've always
Hey, Flipside Music in the house. There's Ike.
buy stuff every year.
I buy stuff every year. Well, yeah, because you're supposed to be there.
Yes, he is. Well, I mean, technically, I can go and be stuck at a pedal board demoing pedals all day. I have that offer every year. But
well, and also let's be honest. Traditionally, you would let's go by 2020 crowdedness and craziness. You can't open that to it's already crowded. There's no room for the public.
But even if they just sold them to the people that are already there with badges, even if you just opened it up to where you could say end of business Sunday, see, he knows they sell them. Well, Ike knows everything. But even if they just allowed end of business Sunday before, I keep saying Sunday because it used to be 4 days, and it'll be 4 days again next year. But end of business on the last day, if they just said, you strike up a deal with so-and-so, hey, when you close on the last day, I'll come back, swipe my fucking credit card. That's mine. Now it's my problem to get it back to wherever I'm from. If they just did that, the vendors would make back a ton of the money that they're spending to get it there.
Yep.
And I've been an advocate of that.
And not have to pay to get it back.
Yeah, I've been an advocate of that for years. So I would like to see that. And like I said, I don't even think they need to open it up to the public because, like you're saying, it's so busy opening it up to the public. That would make it borderline untenable.
Yeah, because it's not I don't know how many people would fly. It's hard to say here because let's be honest, we got a bit of a focus group here. Of course, everybody would like to attend NAMM, but I would say I would imagine a lot of local people would go for the hell because it's basically it just turns into a guitar show at that point. So anybody that would attend a guitar show would go. But I guess a fair amount of people I guess would fly in for say the Dallas Guitar Show or the Philly Guitar Show, stuff like that. But
I don't know
how many hundreds would it be? 1,000? Would it be 5,000?
Way to let them cut down some of the costs. Like a lot of the brands have kind of wised up. Like they want to be able to show at NAMM, have the videos done, get a buzz out there. So what they've been doing, which we're seeing more and more and more of, is hey, rather than me dropping 20 grand on a booth by myself, how about the three of us go in on that same size booth? Now we're each paying, $6,333.
Well, especially if it's a small guitar company, small amp company, and a small pedal company. Because then you just set up a rig and you're using buddies' guitars, other buddies' amps, other buddies' pedals.
Which is why still to this day, my favorite booth to go to is the Delicious Audio Stomp Box booth because it's a massive thing with 12 or 14 boards, but it's 30 pedal companies, and it's great because
the community ones like that, they're great.
You can play you can play every one of these brands. They've got the guitars there, they've got the headphones. The person from the company on the other side of the desk has headphones so they can hear what you're hearing, and they can sit there and go, oh, this, rather than when you throw it on, if the first thing somebody hears sounds like shit.
Hey, Bradders. Mike Bradley in the house.
There's that handsome devil. I was just messaging him before this. I asked him to go for a drink, but he's already in LA. Yeah, Bradders and I had a wonderful time, especially. I took Bradders over to the Benson.
Mm-hmm.
So I took Bradders over and had him playing the Echo Rec. And then what was funny, Mike, I'm going to tell the story. It was a doozy. Mike and I are over there, and all of a sudden, the insole, as I recall it, the insole of a shoe, pops up, I swear to God, in slow motion, into my periphery. And I'm like, what the fuck is going on? Why is there an insole to a shoe? And this guy's, talking to Mike, and he's got a shoe insole. And it's what is going on? Well, it turns out this guy developed an insole that is essentially a wah pedal.
Yes, Martin did a video on it, Aaron, and I'm going to say it now because he says I win best comment. I said, oh, that looks great for shoegaze.
Oh, I like what you did there. But anyways, I got to know the guy. Mike and I went over, and I was filming Mike while he did it. But the guy was a nice guy, but he's been developing it for like 12 years. And the questions that I was asking, which I thought would have been pretty rudimentary questions, he was like, that's a good question. Because I was asking stuff like, how is it with RF interference? Oh, well, I haven't had any problems yet. But you don't know what its specs are for that? Like, you know what I mean? Like, that's something you should know. What's the weight limit for it? You know what I mean? Like, if it's going to be in your shoe and somebody's standing on it, is it going to crush? You know, like,
is it only good for malnutrition, alternative artists, or can a big old blues guy step on it?
And wah is not the most prominently used effect anymore. This isn't the 80s. And even if you're playing the kind of music where your wah...
Right. There was the Converse J. Mascis shoe wah.
Oh, yeah, there was. But anyways, so I said to him, there's a bunch of different things, but he had all these different sized Crocs to try it on in. I said, have you partnered with Crocs? And he's like, no. And I go, you're advertising for them for free. That could help you get the cost down, because the thing I said to him was, you're bringing a new product to market.
I told me Lawrence just trying to, hey, if I'm not mistaken, that dude's from Phoenix. I met him about 7 years ago. And when he came in to talk to me about it, I asked a bunch of questions he couldn't answer either.
Yeah. So let me keep going with this, okay? So RF interference, weight.
Yeah.
He told me that it's a wah.
Bradders mentions left-handed or left foot wah people too. Right?
So Bradders wahs with his left foot. When Bradders said, do you have it for a left shoe? You'd have thought Bradders just stabbed his only child, because the guy was like, you're the only one that's ever said that. And it's like, well, for fuck's sake, you had 12 years to figure that one out. Good God. So Mike had to use his right foot. Going back to all the things that I was saying to him, he says it's a wah and an expression pedal. And I said, well, I'm less interested in the wah part, but it would be cool to be able to remotely control the delay on something. I said, most people, correct me if I'm wrong, most people that use a wah when they're playing leads and stuff, that's when your higher gain tone and your delay comes on. I said, so that's cool. I go, can they control their delay and the wah at the same time? So I turned it on. Now my delay's on, and I'm wahing, and I've got the delay. So you're like doing the expression of the wah and the expression of the delay, essentially. And he's like, well, there's two different pots in there, so I could probably do that. And I'm like, well, who the hell's... So anyways, I said to him, I go, this is a new product entering a market, and it's very niche. I hope it has like a nice low point of entry price-wise. Do you know how much that cost?
I want to say it's going to be something ridiculous, like $600.
$800.
What?
Yes. And it's like, dude, you're a nice enough guy. I love the enthusiasm. I love that you took time to develop this and the software platform and all the patch changes and stuff that need to happen. But nobody in their right goddamn mind is going to give you $800 for a shoe insole that wahs. It's just not going to happen. And then you're telling me that there's a 30-day return policy with a small restocking fee. Okay, you know how many frickin' dirty-footed insoles you're going to get back? Because another annoying thing is to turn it on and turn it off. Hold on, I'm going to show you the example. Let me grab a shoe.
Exactly, Patrick. You can get a crybaby for like $60.
You're going to look like you have fucking Tourette's or there's something wrong with you. Because here's your shoe, right? In order to turn it on, you're standing on stage. Ben, you're rocking out. Oh, here comes the wah. It's on. Oh, now I'm done with the wah. Now it's off. And it's like, why does that guy keep kicking the ground with the top of his toe very awkwardly? That's how you turn it on and off. And like Bradders was the one that said, he goes, not to mention you're going to fuck up your shoe because you're constantly, kicking down like this.
Yeah, unless you've got like 80s tennis shoes that has the wraparound, the old Nikes in the 80s have the wraparound sole.
I mean, maybe a Converse will do well because it's got the big rubber.
Airwalks, maybe, because they have good rubber around all the way around. Like a skateboard shoe. Again, shoegaze. We're getting back to shoegaze.
The guy
wear shoegaze shoes, maybe.
He was an absolute sweetheart. a big fan of Mike's channel. Like that's how this all started. Is he saw Mike Bradley and was like, "Holy shit, Mike Bradley!" And rightfully so.
I get
right?
it. I do the same thing when I see Mike.
Well, when I see Mike, I normally get an erection, have to tuck it in my belt, and then I go and give him a
There's
hug.
that. Yeah.
So handsome. And that's a straight man saying it. So handsome.
Yep.
I went walking. It was me, Mike, and Danish Pete. And I go, oh, this is bullshit. I'm the ugliest one of the three. And that's not how it's supposed to be.
And that's when Aaron was really missing me at NAMM.
True. Sorry, ugly. I mean, handsome, ugly. But no, I mean.
Right, Doug? It does come with some plywood. Everyone would be stomping Tom Connors. Yeah. Spandau Ballet. I like it.
Well, I mean, now let's put that in perspective, okay? The Benson Echo Rec was $2,100, okay?
Hey, sis. She coming in like a champ. First thing she said, I would think a guy had to take a leak if I saw him tapping like that.
That's what it looked like. You're right. And it's like $800. Dude, Benson Echo Rec, indestructible drum machine, custom molded, everything, ins, outs. So like I said, it has XLR in and out. You can do vocals through it now and change everything in real time. $2,100. Your goddamn shoe insert is $800.
Right.
I was like you might have been. You'll be. And I think I was the one that said it to Mike. I said, I don't know how it is in the UK, but over here you can buy a used wah for $50. Wah's not that prominent that you need to have it in your fucking shoe. Like,
and wahs are one of those weird things. I don't know about you, Aaron, but because they have a break-in period, I prefer to buy a used wah.
Oh,
but I know they have a certain lifespan as well. But still, you want them used. They got to be broken in because not the squeaky wah. Ooh, May. What's up, Mark?
When the guy was talking to me, I'm like, dude, I have owned every pedal under the fucking sun. I've owned 1,000 pedals in my life. I've never owned a wah. I played a bunch of them, but they're always, whoever's got one type deal. I don't own wah. I don't use them. You know what I mean? I don't.
I got a crybaby with an LPD mod, and I still don't use it.
You should sell it on Reverb for $800.
I should.
I mean, I'd rather have something LPD did than a fucking shoe insert. I'm just saying.
Michael B says, I can only imagine someone trying to debug the connection taking off a shoe when the show is about to start.
Now, Bradders would be able to tell you because I didn't try it on. Like I said, he ended up doing it in a crock with the right foot, even though, like I said, he normally wahs with his left foot. He sounded great because Mike can fucking play guitar like a champ. You know what I mean? Like, he's like, oh, it's so awkward. I don't know how to wah with my right foot. And immediately he busts into frickin' all the Hendrix up. And I'm like, yeah, okay. Us mere mortals over here are now going to just put our guitars down. Thanks. But he'd be able to tell you, because I asked questions like, what's the latency on it? You know what I mean? Like, all the questions that you would... all the questions that even if you didn't play out as much as I have, just you owned the shit at your house and you stayed in your house, they're the questions that you would have first and foremost. He didn't have answers to any of them. And I'm like, I don't get how you can.
Why are you here?
Yeah. And like I said, like the guy was super sweet. I love his enthusiasm. God bless him. I hope he does well, but that one needs some refinement, and you got to get that price way the hell down because there's no reason anyone wouldn't spend $50 for a used wah or $100 for a new one instead of $800 for a frickin' insole. And like he kept saying, like, well, it's also expression. Okay, $50 used wah, and what's a fucking expression pedal? $50 max? Like,
yeah, not to. There's lots of pedals that out there that don't. Am I not mistaken? Do both already?
Yeah,
I think Ernie Ball makes one.
Like there are dual expression, there are wah expressions. There's all that. Yeah. So I'm, and like I said, the guy was super fucking sweet, and I wish him the best. But it's like when he said $800, I almost shit a harpoon. I was like, how? What?
Yeah. No. Nope, no, no, no.
And in my head, when the 8
All
came
right, so
out,
Mike chimes in. He says, to be fair, there was no latency. It's just a product that isn't needed, like Aaron says. He was such a lovely guy, but that price, eek. Yep.
well, and when he started to say it, I thought he was going to say AT, and I was going to go, okay, somebody will give that a fly for $80. But then when he said 800, I was like, dude, you could buy a freaking guitar for $800. You can buy several guitars for $800 if you go used. Like,
Right. Ike says, I'd rather have a shoe phone. Yep.
well, and I just thought the Croc thing, I was like, to me, that was a layup. I'm like, dude, you're exhibiting these wherever you go, including at NAMM. You're promoting Crocs the whole time. How have you not even thought to reach out to Crocs? Because I go, do the Crocs come with it? And he laughs, and I'm like, no, I'm fucking serious. Do the Crocs come with it? He's like, no. And I'm like, well, have you reached out to Crocs? You could be partnering with Crocs. It'd bring your cost down because they're paying you, and then including, a Croc in the deal. Now, is that going to sell them?
Yeah, and it makes sense he's testing a Croc because the whole thing's rubber, so you're not going to mess up your shoe stubbing your toes on stage all day.
Yeah. But Death by Audio had a new effect pedal come out. That thing sounded killer. I got to play the new Earthquaker Devices chorus, and you know my love of Earthquaker.
Yep.
That thing sounds killer.
Did was Walrus there?
Walrus was there. They had a nice booth. Real nice.
They're the new with the sliders, the affordable line, which they're nice. I kind of dig them. That's an affordable line. I'm really digging what I'm hearing out of them.
Yeah,
they
the
really did well with them.
Elemental series. That's what it's called. Yeah, those were good. I played the new Harmonious Monk Mark II. The TPS pedal.
Mm-hmm.
That sounds fantastic. I mean, the first one sounded fantastic. This just has a little more user functionality that you can do. I'm trying to think. Like I said, Two Rock was fantastic. Dunnable was fantastic. The High Watt Park stuff looked fantastic. The Valiant guitars were fantastic. I like the Chapman stand, Reverend, EHX, Death by Audio, all the Stomp Box exhibits. I mean, it was a great show. I mean, there's not a single thing outside of the shitty pizza and the $800 insoles to, flip your nose at. And the people were,
Michael Gross, exactly. Nothing says I'm here to play rock and roll like wearing Crocs on stage.
You got it, dog. You got it. Nothing says I'm a dad like, hey, here's some Crocs.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Ike mentions Cattle and Bread.
Oh, yeah. Cattle and Bread. Their stand was cool. It was really cool. He was, unfortunately, right next to the shoe insole wah guy. So all day for 3 days, he had to hear waka, waka, waka. And I was like, whew. And then, like, so basically, imagine you've got a T like this. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
T-Rex is here. Cattle and Bread's here. Wah guy's there. So that little triangle was wah-fied the entire time.
Brendan B. Square comments, I wear Crocs.
Okay. Hey, there's nothing wrong with wearing Crocs, but I don't think you're going to jump on stage to wah on one. And if you are, hey, you're a better man than me. I'd end up kicking that damn thing off.
He still chokes when pedals are $200 plus. Most used pedals here are over $150.
Yeah, Canada is a different scenario.
Yeah, but that's like 110, 115 US minimum for used pedals. Unless, because like this past week, I hit a couple of pawn shops and Long McQuaid with extensive pedal selection. And the only pedals I would see under $100, high gain, and then some company, no, or a boost. I'm like, no, because I need another clean boost, like I need a hole in the head.
Yeah.
Or high gain for that matter. Or Dane Electro Fab for $35. I'm like, they retail for $30. I'm not paying over retail for a used Fab Series Dano pedal, which was, of course, probably their metal pedal or something. Oh.
The Dan Electro stand was nice. They had all the sparkly different colors. I know how much you love Dano, but they had all of them out with the different.
I would like it if they priced them accordingly.
Which they do in the States, but they don't in Canada. Like I said, in the States, you can get one for $300. I mean, no problem. Canada,
A grand here, grand.
Which is what makes your disdain understandable. Because like when you originally came up with your hate for it, I'm like, the fuck, they're cheap and good.
The only improvement they made from the originals is you can at least intonate their models now.
For sure.
That's and that's not to say that they built them badly and you couldn't get them intonated. No, there was no option to intonate.
Yeah, I was
going to
say
fix
have a
the bridge. I'm like, it's not an acoustic. What are you doing, morons? At least cheap out like the other companies. Just put a floating bridge in if you're too cheap to mount a bridge.
The Shabbat guitars were exquisite, like always. Cower guitars were out of this world. The Diego Villas are out of this world. Nice to play all of those. Trying to think what else really jumped out at me that was super cool. There's so many freaking brands and boots that in your head you start going, wow, there's a lot more.
Right.
The Solar booth was cool. I'm not a pointy headstock metal guy, but it looked really nice. They looked really cool.
Yeah, it's like I saw a bunch of nice Strandbergs. It's not my thing, but they look nice.
The Ormsbys were the same way. They look fantastic. I mean, I don't play super shreddy metal-y, but man, they have some extended range guitars.
Was Vola there?
Volo is there. So I was at the Vola booth when PG shot their demo. Me and Perry were together, and Joss and I were nerding out because Joss played on the Vola demo, and then found out Joss is a big fantasy nerd like I am. So we were going over my tattoos because Game of Thrones, Lord of the Rings, Harry Potter, Zelda, But yeah, I mean the Vola guitars are unfrickin' believable. And Perry finally got to play one because I was like, dude, Japanese made, all Goto hardware. So I've got a video. When I post my video when I get home, there's a little section of Perry playing on there, which is a rare bird in and of itself. You never get to see Perry play guitar. And Perry's a hell of a guitar player. Mm-hmm. So yeah, the Vola booth was awesome. Mule Resophonics was badass. I've seen those guitars. That's the first time I ever got to play.
My knees hurt says I'm playing a Jackson Randy Rhoads right now. Many points. Stabby guitars are great guitars.
I would agree. I'm trying to think who else really jumped out and I liked their stand was.
Good question.
That EHX stand was really cool. They had the four corners of it. They had these massive 2-tier boards on each of the four corners. So they had 4 stations, and you could go and play them. And they had the cardboard cutout of Mike with the cigar, and they had couches in between all the 4 stands, so you could go and sit down and play there too. The EHX booth was really cool. They did a good job with theirs.
And did you play was it Lizard Spit, Lizard Queen, Lizard King?
I didn't play a Lizard Queen. I was more interested I have owned every one of the 9 series pedals except the one that came out last year.
Okay. Whatever
the hell it's called, I always forget because you've got C9, Mel 9,
C9, D9, Mel 9, Mod. There's Mod 9,
Synth 9, Key 9, Mel 9, B9, C9, and then whatever the new one's called, which I always fucking forget. I finally got to play that, and I was like, all right, this is cool. All those 9 pedals rule. But their booth was really good. In general, it was nice because you could go play.
William De Silva was asking, was Ritter there?
Yeah, Ritter was there. Oh, I got to play I've played them before, but it was nice to get my hands on them again. Nick Huber guitars. Mm-hmm. Those are, they're some of the best guitars in the world, but it was Ritter and Nick Huber next to each other.
I like that. Michael Cross says, just do a damn 99 pedal with all the 9s.
Yeah, exactly right. What you're saying about the cards being on the sold, say Huber had 8 or 9, let's just say 10. We'll say he had 10 guitars up. 9 of them were sold with the card in it that said sold. So there was really only one guitar. By the 3rd day, there was only one guitar you could actually put your hands on and play.
Right. So because once they're sold, folks, you don't pick those ones up and play them.
Don't pick them up. They're going.
They're one-offs. That's why. Dan Crow says, can you ask Aaron what the most disappointing booth was? Hashtag shit talk.
Disappointing as in like had expectations for, because if not, then I'll say the fucking Wah insole guy.
Okay, yeah, outside of the Wah insole guy, yeah, because that's almost just a ridiculous booth. But
Yeah, let me think.
yeah,
What
disappointing.
what
Like you
would I-
really, this is all you did? Well, that would be like PV at Summer NAMM that we went to that had just the 2 HP2s on display. That was it.
Definitely not them this time. Their booth upstairs was good. ESP's booth was killer. Ibanez's booth was what it always is. I will say I almost shit a brick when I saw that Pia, the Swirl Pia, is $11,333.
Wow.
So that was a "are you shitting me" moment. Cash grab, hashtag cash grab.
Right.
And to be honest with you, I didn't think it was a particularly good swirl. The colors didn't pop. They were almost like a pastel version. So it was very.
That's a good question. Was there a DoD booth?
Yes, DoD Digitech. Tom Cram was there.
Yeah,
that was all.
I thought so.
What's that?
I thought so because I think I saw a post Sean had put up with a picture of him and Tom Cram.
Yep, absolutely. That was cool. Tajima's booth was cool. Neuro's booth was really good. I mean, I don't do the modelers or anything like that, but it was cool to see like how they had it set up, and they probably had the best demonstration stage because they had Digital John play, they had Rabia play, like, you know, that booth was hopping, and they actually did like not just performances for people that might be interested in getting into modeling. They actually took the time to show you on a screen and everything how to like make a patch and edit it and what everything meant. So I thought that was really well done.
Nice.
So that was pretty cool.
All right. Who did you run into that you wanted to run into? Like, who was the best surprise run into, we'll say? Would it be Mick?
Yeah, probably Mick.
Just because I don't think you've met Mick. No, you haven't met Mick before,
I haven't met Mick, and I hadn't met Mick, and I hadn't met Pete. And I, got to have drinks with Mick and sit with him for a while. And then Pete and I walked around every day for a long fucking time. I did find out that Pete has the exact sense of humor I do. Like,
nice.
He might be worse than me. I don't know.
And then did JJ walk by and go, "My old drummer's your drummer in your cover band"? He always every time he sees Pete, he mentions it.
Yeah, no. What else was? Somebody, you guys had asked what was a disappointing booth. I'm trying to think of something that comes to mind. I think everybody was excited because, like, the people that didn't come in 23, every one of them that said, "I'll see you in 24." Perfect example. Matthew from Alexander Effects said, "I'll see you in 24 or in 23." He was there, and he had a killer new pedal. They had a bunch of question marks and said they wouldn't say what it was. Him and I got to talk, and we're both diehard Cubs fans. We've talked, every year, but we spent quite a bit of time talking. And everybody that came this year, I feel like, was excited to be there, and they put their best foot forward. There wasn't anybody that I can think of that it was like, well, you really shit the bed on this one. Like, everyone was great. I was super happy that I could spend time with Panos from VS Audio.
Right.
They have a new drive pedal that he told me the painstaking amount of time they spent being between an original Silver Jubilee and this pedal, like going back and forth. And it's got 2 foot switches, one to engage and one to boost it. And that is a wonderful sounding pedal. And, he's a wonderful guy. If you've ever met Panos, or the only thing is Kostas, the other guy, wasn't there. He was still back in Greece. So then it was kind of confusing because there's Panos I know, and then the other guy that was there that I'd never met is also named Panos. So I'm like, all right, this isn't going to work. You're Panos. He can be P.
P2.
Yeah, so it worked. But, yeah, no, I mean,
Cousin Doug chimes in. He says, "I think his biggest disappointment would be that Ben wasn't there."
That's absolutely true.
Nice to say.
I mean, I didn't have to FaceTime you and play the game of Where's JJ?
No. That would have been harder this year too, because I was missing it more.
Yep.
Mark, yes, I do remember going to that Taylor Road show. That was a lot of fun.
Trying to think. There's so much funny shit that happened too. I'm trying to think.
Was Dunlop MXR way huge there?
I do not recall seeing that.
I don't think they were.
I don't remember seeing them at all, now that you mentioned them.
Hey, Travis, he says, I had an Arian heavy metal pedal that sounded exactly like a TV channel that I couldn't catch.
Well done.
Nice. Oh, and somebody asked earlier, because you mentioned probably owning 1,000 pedals, have you ever owned a Metal Zone?
Yes.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, for sure. That's when I learned what it meant to, like, tweak knobs. That was the first pedal I can remember. That was the first. My friend Ryan Kinsella had one, and he also had he was a drummer, a guitar player, and he had a half pipe in his backyard because he was a skateboarder.
Nice.
And I remember we'd jam in his garage all the time. When I'd come over, he'd go on to drums and I'd go on guitar. And the first time I ever played a Metal Zone, I think I was in like 7th grade, and I just remember being like, "What the fuck?" Like, oh, I need more gain. Well, you do it what any kid does, and you max it out, and all of a sudden you're like, "What the fuck just happened?" That was the first pedal that I was like, okay, so every little bit counts on this pedal. And then since they're the dual concentric pots, you got to make sure that you're not turning the bottom one when you mean to turn the top one and all that shit. But yes, I've owned a Metal Zone.
Yep. What's up, 6-string Brian? Good to see you. Yep. No Friedman at NAMM this year. Nope.
He himself was there.
Yes.
Yeah, I saw him.
Exactly. We're going to go to the bottom of the hour here, folks. So had some awesome questions and stuff. And Sean's confirming no, they weren't. Okay. No MXR, right. And no Friedman, or the other.
I don't know if we'll be able to pull it off or not. Time will only tell. But Ike was mentioning potentially next year trying to do an Airbnb so that we can, grill out and shoot videos and stuff from there and live stream from there. So I don't know if that'll happen. We've got 8 months or whatever till that has to be a reality. But January will be a good time. And I think the one thing I noticed is any brand that I've talked to, whether they didn't show up or whether they were just there pulling a Dave Friedman and walking around, the energy level and the excitement and the fun was back tenfold. And those companies are telling me they'll be there in 2024. I mean, I don't think you're going to see your Gibson Fender PRS again because, again, there's no benefit to them. Everybody knows them. They don't come out with anything revolutionary, shocking.
Well, and based on what they were outlaying there too, like I heard from a source, we'll just say that it's cheaper for Fender to fly in their 50 biggest dealers in North America to schmooze themselves for a week than it is to do the NAMM show. And if you're bringing your 50 biggest dealers, that's basically everybody except for the guys that sell just accessories or whatever, right?
Well, and the other thing people gotta remember is it's like, and maybe I'm wrong, but isn't Guild still technically under FMIC?
Nope.
No? Are they on their own now?
They're owned by someone help me. I want to say Court, but I don't think it's maybe Court that sounds like Court, but another company. No, Guild was sold in the last year.
Okay.
That's hence their big comeback now, right? Because Guild acoustics were available, all the time, but you never saw Guild electrics. Very rare did you ever see Guild electrics. The only place I saw that one new was at Sweetwater.
The other thing that was cool, going back to the high watt buying,
I think Yamaha bought Guild.
Oh, well, if Ike says it, then I fucking believe
it. And then Terry Himes also mentioned it, so that's confirmation. That's honest reporting. We got a source and we got a second. So in that case, like, I don't remember Yamaha being here this year, you know what I mean? But Guild was. So it's like you may get the big guys relaunching brands and sending those brands there. You just might not get their parent brand, you know what I mean? You might not get the Gibson, but you might get a Kramer, shit like that, you know what I mean?
because that's the stuff that needs the attention. That's the stuff
Right.
that needs the hype. That's the stuff that needs to be reintroduced to the marketplace.
What's up, Zach?
When I said guild, it made me think of something. Oh, yeah. So, Park was bought by High Wide. I told you, Mitch and I talked about that. What was cool to see is the WEM cabs are back.
Oh.
WEM from the 70s, and they did the full-on 70 print on the baskets. They look incredible. With the big ass WEM in the upper left-hand corner of the grill cloth. So that was awesome. Like those, like I said, I didn't get to play any. I listened to a girl that was playing there. And it sounded fine. But,
apparently Yamaha was in another building.
Oh, well, that makes sense. They've done that before where they're in that little hotel building that's across the way.
Yeah. Or the other one that was all the pro audio in the other big building.
Yeah, the ACC North. Yeah, I didn't go over to it was cool though. I'll tell you a sector of the business that was booming was the pro audio stuff. Holy shit. So I went and met up with Adam from Hot Pole. Adam
Okay.
Steele.
Sean says Yamaha was on the 3rd floor.
Oh, there you go. I didn't go up there. So I went and had beers with Adam from Hot Pole Studios, and he was working at the Audient booth. And that was actually still in ACC Main. So that should give you an idea, like the ACC, so the main building that you and I guitars are in, that's like D, and then say drums and shit are in C, and some of the guitars is over there. A is like all pro audio, and then they still had ACC North up and down all pro audio. Like it was booming. So,
Michael Crow says, I would say Yamaha is bigger than Fender. Yamaha Corporation, yes, bigger than FMIC, but in the guitar market, just the guitar market, no.
No. Nippon Gaki as a whole is like one of the biggest companies in the world. Jesus Christ, they have motorcycles, boats, everything. Pianos.
Oh, yeah, everything.
There's a Canadian piano guy. I kept calling him the Canadian piano master. He stayed in the hotel, and him and I had a nice talk, having coffee in the morning on Thursday or Friday. And he was saying, basically even pianos, which are significantly more expensive than guitars and shit, he was talking about how those have just flown through the roof, just like everything else did. And, now a lot of the same problems that have existed still exist. Like I had plenty of builder friends that told me they were smart enough when the pandemic started to stockpile stuff, but now they're starting to run out of the stuff they stockpiled. It took them 3 years to get through it. But the problem that they're running into now is it's either a ridiculous wait time. Like I'll give you a perfect example. I'm not going to say who, but the microcontroller that one of my friend's companies use, he bought 3 years worth of it in 2020, and he's getting low on them now. The expected next fill date that he'll be able to get is the middle of next year. And then I had another pedal builder friend that is switching all of their pedals to like a different format because the microcontrollers that they use are now obsolete. They were end of line. Can't get them anymore. So that problem still exists, but it's better than it was.
Right.
Way to word that.
Keith Campbell says, but did you see any other big retailers there in terms of other instruments? I assume you mean big manufacturers. Big retailer would be like Guitar Center, Spires.
They were there. Guitar Center was there.
Oh yeah, they'd be there.
Yeah, I was.
Did you check out any other instruments at all, or?
I checked out some basses. Yeah. I did not go over to the drum section. I was smarter than that this time. I did some pro audio looking.
The only reason you go over there is there's never a lineup for beer. That's why you go to. That's the only reason to venture in drum world.
Yeah, no, I didn't go over there. Forget that. But like I was really impressed with the Valiant stuff, which I didn't know I was going to be with the basses because they do the short scale basses, And I'm like, this is weird. Like this is kind of like a guitar, but not like a guitar. But I mean, they played and sounded great. So those were cool. And then, you know, Dingwall was there, and Dingwall basses are unbelievable. They're a little angular, you know, kind of fan-fretty, multi-scale, but they're killer instruments.
Let's see here. Guitar Man 45 says he pre-ordered a Martin D28 Dreadnought Street Legend. Nice. I love my 28.
Yeah, Martin's fantastic.
Eddie Van Haskell in the house.
Hey.
All right, we'll do one more question here. Blues Sky asks, were there any interesting small string companies?
Ooh, small string companies? Not that I can think of. I was over at the String Joy booth quite a bit because Blake was over there, Blake Weiland. That's somebody I should get on the show for you. He does the Tone Mob podcast, and he has the Chasing Tone podcast with Brian Wampler. He was at String Joy. Their strings, presumably, I haven't played them. I mean, you know me, I just play Ernie Ball, skinny top, heavy bottom, 10 to 52s, and I have forever. But String Joy seems like a pretty good bet on strings. I don't know who else. I wasn't really looking for strings, to be honest with you. I'm sure there was most of them, you know, SIT.
Yeah, one of the things, if you're not looking for it, you wouldn't notice it, but it's like, if all of a sudden, let's say you got into phasers a week before NAMM, you would know, like, everybody's making phasers. Look, they're everywhere.
This is the year of the chorus, dude. There are so many chorus pedals that came out.
Good.
I mean,
Keith Campbell asked, did you see Steve Rosen there?
No. Was I supposed to see him there?
You might have seen him.
I don't. The only thing that I can say that was funny is I was talking with Matthew from Alexander Effects, and I thought I saw Steve Demadash walk by from Demadash Effects. And I love Steve Demadash. Brilliant engineer. So I pull out my phone, and I go, did I just see you? And he writes back, and he goes, I don't know. I don't have your eyes.
Well,
so I'm like, haha, good fucking point. Like, you know, where are you? And he's like, I just went by, I don't remember what booth he said he was buying. I'm like, oh shit, well, I'm going to grab drinks right now. I'll hit you up after. And then he was like, come to the pop-up event, which I think Sean Pierce Johnson went to the pop-up event. I hit a wall because that was like I basically went for drinks with Adam from Hot Pole. On my way back out, the Demos in the Dark crew, so the two Seif brothers, Kai and Ryan, the two Seif brothers were sitting in the lobby and they yell Aaron, and I was like, I'll be right back. Well, then I ended up having drinks with them. By the time drink with Adam, drink with them got finished, I was like, I need to lay down. So that's what I did. I was like, you know, Ike was nice enough to ask me, like, hey, do you want to go to dinner with these guys, or do you want to go to dinner with these guys? And both times I was like, no, I'm gonna crash. Like, I hit my fucking wall, dog. And I don't eat that much. I mean, you know that. I haven't eaten yet today.
Right. Exactly. Which will happen after this. So on that note, he's been Aaron. I've been Ben. This has been a NAMM recap for 2023. And we'll do it again next year.
Yeah.
I may be broadcasting from there. I may not.
If there's a ghost in the sky, you'll be with me.
It would be nice.
It would be fucking fun. It would be real nice.
Be real nice, especially in January. California in January is
fantastic.
It's very pleasant.
Ooh,
it's 59 and sunny. I'm going out tanning.
I will say that it was cold and fucking rainy here. It was warmer in Chicago when I left at 5:25 in the morning than when I landed here.
Right.
And I was like, thank God I brought this hoodie.
Right.
Yeah,
we've been hitting 80
gorgeous
the last few days here. It's been ridiculous.
Well, I was gonna say, like, 2 of the last 4 days, it's like once the cold damp goes away, then it's like freaking, 80, 90. Like, I went for a big long walk today. I'm like, I got nothing to do. I'm gonna get my steps in. I was sweating my ass off. I came back and took a shower. I was like, holy shit, it got hot out.
Nice.
But
all right, I'll be back tomorrow with Trev and Terry doing Canucks with guitars. And then we got some videos coming out this week. I don't know. probably a soda pop tasting because I'm supposed to have a buddy come over with a soda pop tomorrow. He goes, "Do you want to taste it?" I'm like, "Okay." Have a sip of my drink. I don't know. And then probably an acoustic demo because I still have more of those to put out. I was a busy boy that day. So
before I close, Ike made it. We had talked. He made it halfway. He left early this morning because originally he was going to do like 4 hours to Vegas and then like have an 11-hour drive tomorrow. Instead, he found the midpoint and he texted me to say he got there. So Ike, if you're still watching, don't forget to text me when you get home tomorrow and do make sure you're safe.
Yes.
Okay.
Safe travels, brother. Yes. Safe travels to you. Getting back to Chicago, Tuesday? Because that's a cheap flight day?
Yep.
Yeah, word of advice, folks. If you're flying anywhere for a week, do it on Tuesdays.
Always.
It's
Wednesdays and
not
Tuesdays.
cheap and cost effective.
Tuesdays and Wednesdays are where you get a massive break.
Yeah. Exactly. So, as always, hold those doors open. Let Aaron in ahead of you in traffic. No, or let Ike in. He's driving. Let Ike in ahead of you in traffic. He's got to get all the way back to Denver, don't you know? There's a store waiting on him there. So, be good to each other. Happy tone chasing. I hope you enjoyed tonight's show. I'm back tomorrow again. If you're new, please subscribe. And, of course, don't litter. Just don't.